Peace be upon you all and welcome back to another episode of Books and Coffee. I'm your host Fadila. We have a very special guest joining today's episode. Today's episode is a bit different from our previous episodes because this is the first guest that we would be recording with a video. And I'm really excited about today's episode because we'll be talking about an interesting book and we'll be having a casual conversation with the author of this book. Our guest today is Muhammad Sharif, popularly known as Mo Sharif. He's a motivational speaker and the author of the book 11 Letters I Wrote But Never Sent. I recently came across one of his videos on TikTok and I was like, interesting. Why not contact him and then bring him up on the podcast? So I did, and he replied. Welcome, Muhammad, to Books and Coffee. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thank you so much. I'm excited.
I'm also excited. So can you tell us a bit about your background, how you became a motivational speaker and author? Take us through the entire journey.
My background, motivational speaker, author. There are many pieces in that, right? My background is a very beautiful one. I come from an Islamic background. Both of my parents are Muslims. When we were much younger, before we went to English school, primary school that teaches us A, B, and C, our parents made all of us go to Arabic school first, madrasa. So I learned the Arabic alphabet. I started learning about Quran by age 1, age 2, before even going to proper school by age 3, that type of stuff. Right. So that was very woven in my background very heavily. Then growing up, my mom had a bookshop. When we're back from school, we go to our bookshops. And what happens when you're in a bookshop? Automatically you start picking things and start reading. And of course, there are different types of books there. Super Strikers, Maya the Little Lamb, whatever. But then I think that heavily influenced the kind of path I am on right now, just reading by myself. Regards being a motivational speaker, I've always been good at speaking. It was just a natural thing. So from Arabic school, you know how you will learn Quran throughout the whole year, and then there is Walima to the Quran for the people that are done with their reading. And automatically, every class is supposed to present something on that Walima just to show everybody what's happening in the Arabic school, just like a graduation ceremony, the same way it happens in normal school. And they would always want to pick people in different classes. And naturally, I'd be like, I want to represent my class, even as I was small. So it was very early at that young stage I started owning my presentation and speaking in front of public. Tuning it into motivational speaking came in secondary school when there was this amazing guy called Ken Carter that came to my secondary school. And our principal has been begging us to drop our contrabands, to not copy, to not steal, to not be wicked, to not bully, to read our books. And we didn't listen to our principal for about 3 years. I was in just 3 at the time. And then this guy called Ken Carter came under 3 hours, spoke to us with the art of words, and he convinced us to do all the things our principal told us to do that we've not been doing. See us wanting to read our books, us wanting to drop contraband. So that was beautiful. And that was when I realized that speaking can be more powerful than just debating or presenting. But then I didn't really have the mind. Much later, when I came out of secondary school, I finally had a phone. I started using social media. And I was watching a lot of things on social media, but for the first time, there was this guy I stumbled on. His name is Jay Shetty. And in the video, he said something like, the biggest mistake we make in life is we think we have time. And I watched that video 20, 30 times. I even talk about it in my book. It inspired me, it intrigued me, it made me pause. And that was when I realized that all the speaking I've been doing from Arabic school to primary school to debating in secondary school, this time around I want to use this speaking to inspire people. And that was how I went on the journey of reading a lot of books so that I will have something to say. And then anything I learned from these books, I make videos about it. And I've been making videos since forever. And that's how it has been inspiring people. And someday I said that I have to write a book. And I never thought I could. I never thought I should. Just 2021, do you understand? But then I had things to say. I had learned a lot of things, and the people that followed me needed to hear a different perspective. So I did it, and I'm so happy I did because it has given me more confidence to go for bigger things. And that also allowed many people that watch me realize that them too, they can go for bigger things. So yeah, that has been my journey so far.
So, what inspired you to write this book, 11 Letters I Wrote But Never Sent? What was the main inspiration?
Poverty is a lie. It's not poverty. It's a lie. It's not poverty. I've never been poor in my life, and may Allah never make me or anyone listening to this understand what poverty is. But I was broke. The thing about being broke is, um, it depends. There's brokenness of, oh, I know fit chop, and there's brokenness of, oh, I can't have money to go out and flex while my mates are balling. Do you understand? All this brokenness of, I'm okay, I can ball, I can eat, but I don't have extra money to like buy a camera. That's the kind of broke I was dealing with. And for me, money hasn't been a problem for me. I mean, I grew up in an amazing family, right? We're not struggling. We're not the richest, but we're not the poorest. It's more like if you need something, you will get it. If you want something, go and get it. That's kind of background we have in my family, right? I was okay with all the things I needed that my parents was providing me, but I needed to start getting things I wanted. But money was never a big deal to me. Do you understand? Like the people that are always shocked about money, that hey, I want to get money, I want to get money, is people that they lack money. I have a friend when we are in school, bets and whatever. But anytime he gets some mad cash out like this, he immediately wants to rush and go and buy spaghetti and turkey because he has not eaten for a very long while. And anytime he bets and he cash out, he wants to quickly buy spaghetti and turkey because that intrigues him. The lack of that intrigues him. But for someone like me, that this is something I've taken to some extent. When I have a lot of money, the first thing that comes to my mind is not buying spaghetti and turkey. Growing up year one, year two, SS3, year three, when everybody's like, oh, I want to have $1 million there, I want to make my first money, I want to I want to have money, I want to blow up, I want to do Yahoo. I was not shocked because like money, I just know I'll have it. I just know I'll have it. At the turn of year three, by my year three holiday, I started realizing that okay, I know I'll have it, but now I need to know what my plan is because of I was going to enter year four, that's my final year, and I just graduated recently, right? I'm going to enter year four, and after year four, I'll be done with school and I'll be at home. Do you understand? And I know that I don't want to work for anybody. I don't want to be an employee. I don't want to do 9 to 5. That's when I realized that I needed to start thinking of how I was going to make money. And before that time, I've been reading a lot of books on money. And I think the biggest lesson I've learned regards money for everybody listening is the amount of money you make is in direct proportion to the service you render to the world. The reason Jeff Bezos is richest in the world is because of he's a servant to many of us. I use Amazon. You use Amazon. Dangote built this house with his cement. I ate his sugar this morning. His spaghetti I'll eat in the afternoon. That's why that guy has bastard money. He's serving so many of us. So if we want more money, we must serve more people. So that's when I realized that if by the time I'm done with school, I wouldn't be forced to go and do a 9 to 5 because I don't have money. I must start putting myself in the process of making money. And then different ideas came to my mind. One of them was trying to start a hoodie line. As I started the hoodie line, I was working on that. I realized I need a lot of capital to start a big brand like a hoodie line. So something just told me, man, write like a 10 pages PDF. You have like 30K followers on TikTok, post it. Some people will buy it, even if it's at 1K times 30 is 30K. You can use that money to like push your UDP, add it to the extra capital you have. And I started writing this 10 pages PDF and I could not stop because I had more things to say. Let me just write something proper. I'm going to write at all. Let me write something that is beautiful. And then I wrote, I put it out, and I've made beautiful money since then that I've even paused the whole Udi thing and I'm focusing much more on the book. Brokenness inspired me, but then along the journey, I found a bigger intention that I was going to put out beautiful art, and I put it out, and it has been inspiring a lot of people. So I'm happy for that.
That was interesting to hear.
Mm.
So, are there any hobbies or like interests that you are passionate about aside
Yeah,
from speaking and writing?
yeah. Funny enough, writing is not my passion. It's just a tool. I just have to do it. And right now, people see my books and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, Mo, it's like you're the most beautiful writer I've ever seen. Like you're destined to do this." But I don't even like writing. I just happen to do because I have a journal, and that's one of the chapters in my book, Dear Journal, why I encourage people to write. But I don't like writing. It's not my first point of expression. I prefer speaking. I can speak forever. So even the way I write, if I write as if I'm speaking, it's just that now it's coming through my pen, whatever. But then things I'm passionate about, aside speaking and writing, I love basketball. I love basketball. I love meeting new people. I love making new friends. I used to watch a lot of Netflix high school romance movies. If I'm not reading books, if I'm not listening to podcasts, I'm watching movies. And I rarely watch these movies because most of them are distractions, right? it's like an escape. We watch all these things to escape from the world. Just the same way someone will watch football. I always watch Barcelona football. I'm passionate about FC Barcelona too. So we do all of all these things just because we want to escape from our reality. That's why me, I don't want to escape. And that's why I like reading books and watching the podcast to make me better. So that to remind me of my reality that I am not where I want to be, but then I learn more. And the beautiful thing about learning is the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. The more you work, the more you realize that you've not worked enough. So I'm passionate about a lot of things, but basketball is one of the highest ones because it helps my creativity. So I'm reading a book recently called The Art of Impossible by Stephen Kotler, and it expresses and explains flow. Flow is a state of mind and performance where what you are doing just seems to work. It just flows, right? So anytime an athlete is kicking the football, like he can't even see, he's just dribbling and it's happening automatically, or seeing boats running, and at that moment everything just pauses. Or anytime I'm editing a video and I'll start from like 8 p.m. the night and I'll go to like 8 a.m. I'm just going, I'm in flow. And there's a science and art to how you can actually do flow. And you can do flow while you're doing your podcast, you can do flow while you're reading, you can do flow while you're praying. We've all experienced flow, but most of us don't know exactly how. So I've been reading books trying to understand how so that I can know how to do it by myself. However, while I was reading this book, I came to understand that basketball is one of the things that help my creativity. So I'm reading books, I'm making videos, I'm editing, I'm in that bubble. And once every week, every Wednesday or every Saturday, I go and play basketball. After I play basketball, by the time I'm coming back, I'm seeing my work with fresher eyes, and then I can express better. So most of my best ideas come just after playing basketball. The funniest thing is, like last 2 years, I didn't know basketball. Like I hated itself. I hated the sport because I don't like the way people just dress like and fans and feel like they're the freshest in the world just because they're playing basketball. I hated it. I don't know anything about it. But then I watched a Netflix documentary about Michael Jordan. So that's the beautiful thing about your curiosities. I was curious about Michael Jordan because of it was great. So I watched his document. When I watched his document, it made me fall in love with basketball. Now basketball has helped my life. Regards passion, I don't think there's always one or two. It doesn't have to be writing or speaking. I always love to try a lot of things because I don't know what it will lead me to. Because to eventually circle back and help my main stuff. But basketball is the answer, Sha. It is my biggest passion aside from speaking. I feel like everybody should, yes, have things that they're trying to be the best at, but they should also have things that when they are doing that thing, they feel the best.
The next question I
Yeah.
have for you is for listeners that are not familiar or that might not be familiar with you or your book. Can you give us a brief overview of your book? What's it about?
So this is my book here. This is my first copy actually. The title of the book is 11 Letters I Wrote But Never Sent, and the subtitle of the book is Don't Pick. Be both rich and happy, screw the all. The overview of the book basically is that most young people, the way we always look at things is, oh, I'm going to have bastard money, but no, I can be sad. Like money can't buy happiness, so no, let me just get my money and I'm good. And people are like, oh, if I'm happy, will I ever get money? Like, I don't know where we got that stupid rule from. I don't know who hypnotized us that it had to be one. As I'm working to understand taxes, understand investing, reading book on negotiation, or trying to understand sales, I am putting in my hours and my effort to understand happiness too. Meditation, gratitude, journaling, reading books on that, listening to people, looking at the science behind it, looking at the art behind it, studying the Quran, the Bible, and things that make people happy, fulfillment, peace. That's the essence of this book. That as we are young right now, we need to start working on both of them at the same time. And this book is not exactly telling you how, it is just saying how I have tried and the things I have learned along the way. And in the book, there are two beautiful chapters. Dear Forbes, it talks about money exactly, what to do, where to start. Why you are not broke, you are just ignorant, right? If you understand money, you will know how to attract money first and earn it, save it, keep it, grow it. I talk about happiness. The happiness is not just something you wake up and have, and it's okay to be sad. But then happiness is something that can be managed, that can be monitored, that can be grown over time. If you do some certain things, that's dear journal, gratitude. Do you understand? And how if you're going after a rose, you become happier. So basically, that's the main focus of the book. That's being happy and being rich at the same time. But then there are also many other beautiful chapters. Like chapter 1, Dear Lomo, is basically writing a letter to your younger self. This thing feels like therapy. Every time anybody does the exercise in chapter 1, they're always like, Mo, I never knew I needed that. So if you have been thinking you need therapy, first read chapter 1. You understand? Chapter 2 is there, Mr. Lomax. He says, on your deathbed, what would you like your last words to be? So this is basically trying to paint the picture that all these things, even money, happiness, it doesn't really matter. Last, when you look back, did you really enjoy it? Do you understand? Chapter 3 is there for chapter 4 is there where it talks about why it's important to have a morning routine. Chapter 5 is there soulmate. We are all young. All of us are trying to date and marry and fall in love and fall out of love and heartbreaks and stuff. And I talk about all the things I've learned because I feel like this is the stuff that most of us are excited about. Yet there are no books written about this stuff enough. People shy away from it. They don't talk about it in the mosque. They don't talk about it in the church. And I've learned a lot of stuff from it. So I wrote that. Dear God, the tagline here is basically, I want to see you try to do this thing called life without God. So basically, it's God that created us. And if you really want to understand life, you have to understand who gave you the life, right? So, and there are many other beautiful chapters. There are 11 chapters, and it's exciting.
So, are there any particular letters from this book that hold a special place in your heart? Or were there any challenging letters, right? And this one is a side question. The letters in the book, were they actual letters that you wrote somewhere before compiling them?
I'll answer the second question before the first question. The second question, were they actually letters for? No, they were in my journal. So this book started as a thought in my journal. I journal every day. And as I was writing my journal, I was like, oh my man, how can I start making money? And maybe I'll write that on a Tuesday, and maybe like the next Wednesday, I'll write Thursday, Friday. But like next week, Saturday, as I'm writing, I'll be like, maybe I can write a book. Do you understand? So on that Saturday, I'll write on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm like, even if I write a book, what would I like to write about? And I write, okay, I'd like it to be about money. I'd like it to be about happiness. Then, right on my journal every day, I wake up again the next day, I write about how, that girl did not answer me, or I posted every day did not do well, or how my mommy cooked sweet jollof rice. Now I'll keep writing every day, but slowly, everything started to appear to me in the journal. And journaling is so beautiful. That's why chapter 7 is there. Journal is very important, right? All these things came as thoughts, small thoughts in my journal. And then I write it there, I leave it, and then the answers I need come like another journal entry. Because once you ask God for something, and you just go and live your life normally. But then, as you're living your life, those answers start coming to you. That's how creativity works. That's how people get beautiful ideas. And eventually, it became a concrete thought that this thing is showing up too much in all my journal entries. Like there's a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's showing up more. Write a book, more. Write a book. Why haven't you written a book? What's stopping you? You tell people to do it. Why can't you do it by yourself? You tell people to go out there and do it. Why can't you start? Who told you you have to be this certain amount of age? Why don't you like? And then I'm like, okay, no, well, I'll start. Do you understand? And then I wrote out the outlines, chapters, different ideas were coming to my head. But yeah, many of the things I wrote that later filled up these chapters, they were things that I've written in my journal. My notes app is such an amazing place. Anytime I have an idea, I'll quickly write it in my notes app. The funniest thing is, even before it became the title, there was one time that the title that I had for the book was Inside My Notes Unfiltered. This is answering your second question. Was there any letter challenging? The letter that was challenging was Dear God. That was the last letter I wrote, and that was the most problematic letter. Because these things were not letters before. They were just sneak peek into my notes unfiltered, right? So I wrote down 11 things I want to tell the world, and like that. But I reached the chapter on spirituality, and of course I brought out stuff from my notes. It just did not feel right for me to tell people how to live their life regards God. Like my spiritual life is not a path. Like who am I to tell other people how to live their life? And that was the devil. That was Shaitan. Because whether I'm perfect or not, there are things I have learned. And maybe I'm on a level 3 or on a level 4. Somebody in a level 1 needs to hear those things to better them on their journey with God. So when I got stuck there, I was like, for like 2 or 3 days, I could not even continue writing it because I got stuck. Like I could not write. I got stuck. But then something just switched in my mind. Man, you journal every day. It was even in my journaling. I was like, man, because in my journal, the way I reach my journal is not by my side yet. But the way I journal is basically dear journal. There was a time I even give my journal a name, I Minerva. So I literally write a letter in my journal. I just put I Minerva, this was happening. So I was like, why can't I write this chapter like a letter to God? And if I'm writing a letter to God, then there's no need for me to be a bad guy. There's no need for me to be an expert. There's no need for me to be perfect. It's just me point out to God that, yeah, Allah, yeah, Rob, my God, this was happening, waiting this up, this is what I'm learning. And from there, I started writing it as a letter to God, and it was smooth, it was sweet flowing. I was just writing. If you read itself, it doesn't feel like it's a book. It feels like you stole my diary and you were reading. And once I did that, that's when I changed all the chapters to letters. And that's when the title of the book changed from Unfiltered Sneak Peek into my notes to 11 letters I wrote but never sent. And funny how that Dear God is probably one of the best chapters for me because it got me closer to Allah. But more importantly, it's been the best chapters for many people, Muslims, even Christians.
How did your personal growth journey begin?
My personal growth journey started when I finally wanted to start making videos. So, first off, naturally, I'm always growing. Naturally, I'll have a goal and I'm always going towards those goals. So, automatically, I'm growing. I mean, I'm sure in primary school is when I tried to go for my first spelling bee competition, right? I remember I tried, I beat everybody, but then I reached the final. I was the best in my school because we did an in-house school before somebody would go and represent. So I was the best person. I was okay. Mo, Yadona is going to go and represent, and the next thing they say is the school that is hosting the spelling bee competition for the locality was the school I came for. So I went to a primary school before called Moshudarumi before I moved to Ali Alim. So, but then Moshudarumi is the one hosting the competition, and Al Alim, even though I'm the best, Al Alim does not want me to go and represent them because of Moshud is the one hosting the competition. So Al Alim doesn't want it to feel like they are using Moshud's products to come to the competition. That didn't make any sense to me. But then I'm just saying that since then I always had goals. So there was no intentionality behind my self-help or my self-development or my personal growth journey. But then I had goals, and normally when you have goals, you start growing. The same thing happened in secondary school to me trying to become the mocks prefect or me trying to write an essay competition. I was growing in uni too, same thing, but my intentional personal growth journey started after I watched Joshetti's video where he said, when asked what is the biggest mistake we make, the Buddha replied, you think you have time. That was so crazy. And that was the first time I realized that, although yes, at I think I was about 15, although yes, I still have a lot of time, but then I don't have a lot of time. And more importantly, the time won't make any sense eventually if I don't use it to grow. So that's when I started realizing that, man, I have goals. I want to speak. I want to inspire people. But then to inspire people, I must have things to say. So I literally started reading books. The beautiful thing about reading is the more you read, the more you realize you need to read. The more you know, the more you realize you need to know. The more you work, the more you realize you need to work. It's just a beautiful loop and cycle. So I read a book, and from there, of course, as the author is talking, the author will mention some certain things, mention some certain people that will make me go and read another book. Or mention somebody that influenced me. I'll make me go and read another book. In that book, they'll mention one course. I'll go and take that course. In that course, they'll mention one YouTuber. I'll start watching that YouTuber. My mind will be blown. Wow, so this is possible. I'll learn. While watching the YouTuber at like the 67th video of the YouTuber features another person that is so exciting to me. I've never heard him before. I go and check him. It turns out to be Gary V. And then there's a new old page about 1,000 videos. I'm watching. And then Gary V in that video, one place says, man, you don't have to learn so much. You can start sharing the things you learn. Just don't say you're an expert, even when you're not an expert. Just say you're an enthusiast, you're learning and you're sharing. And that changed so much for me because that's what gave me the morale to start sharing.
All you just said while you were saying all this, one thing I was just thinking was this is Abi's quote. I don't know where I saw it from, but it goes along the lines of don't just consume, also create. So basically, we're like intaking things and then you are also translating them into benefits by creating videos for others to
Yeah.
inspire them and
This is a
motivate them
cup.
and
If you keep
all
pouring
those
water,
things. It is pretty nice and
the cup
awesome.
will get filled. And at some point, the water will start overflowing. So don't just let the water pour on the floor. Share it. Let other people bring their cup. Let them collect. So that's it.
Nice analogy. So that brings us to the rapid fire question things. So this is how it's going to go. I have a couple of words here. I would say the words, and then you tell me the first word that comes to mind. And then I also have like little questions to ask. The first word I have here is book.
11 letters I wrote for never sent by Mo Sheriff.
Motivation.
Busi Tembekwayo.
Speech.
Gary V.
Letters.
Mo Sheriff.
Islam.
Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
So, what would you say is the reason you created this line, or should I call it a tagline? Unilag today, and then what's even the other part?
Today Unilag, tomorrow
Why
the
did you?
O2.
How did you come up with that tagline?
The O2 Arena is a big stadium in London that is about 20,000 capacity. And I remember sometime in 2017, there was a big buzz about Whiskey. That was the first time he was doing a show there, and it's a big capacity. Can he sell it out? Can he do it? And eventually did it, and it was a big buzz. And I remember that time I was saving up money because every December there are concerts, right? And I was saving up money. I wanted to go to a concert for the first time. And then every December will come, I did not have money. And I'll tell myself I'll save up money for the next year. And the next December I'll come, I do not still have money. And one of the Decembers, I'm like, why am I saving up all my money and thinking so much trying to go to a Whiskey concert or a Davido concert? Why can't I use the next year to grow myself so much that one day people will save up money to want to come to my own thing? So I told myself that I don't know how big this motivational speaking thing is because it is so weird. Even right now, so it's so weird. You're a motivational speaker. I don't know where this thing is going to take me, but that I want to be so big that someday I can sell out the O2 Arena. That's how the whole idea came up. That's not like my goal. It's just an indication of how big I want to be with this speaking thing. It's just showing how far I want to go. It's just showing that I'm not doing it just for TikTok. I'm doing a lot of things. I want to make money from it. I want to inspire lots of people because for 20,000 people to come to London to come and hear you speak, that means you've touched base with the world, like a lot of impact. The phrase today Unilag, tomorrow the O2 is a phrase that would always change. So right now it is today books and coffee, tomorrow the O2. Next tomorrow it can be today Stanford, tomorrow the O2. Anywhere I am right now, it's just like the journey of where I am. And this is where I am, right? And this is what I'm doing. But it's just showing that all the things I'm doing, I'm not just playing. I'm going somewhere. I want somebody to sell out the O2 Arena. Yeah, that's it. And it's funny how the line will change. The day I finally sell out the O2 Arena, when it's now become today the O2, tomorrow, I don't know, till then. But yeah, that's how the line came about.
What is one piece of advice you live by?
Everything that you have physically, you once had mentally. That was a quote I stumbled on in You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. And since I read that quote, many things have changed my life. Because, bro, it is so true. Before I had this power bank, I literally thought about it. Before I wrote this book, I thought about it. So if everything in my physical reality was something I once thought about mentally and in my mind, I already had it before I had it, then I'm like, wow, now, anytime I want something, I just start believing I have it already. And then before I need to show up in my physical reality. So that's such a bit. Everything you have physically, you once had mentally. And this applies to traumas, to sadness, being hurt, heartbreak, and all of that.
That's inspiring quotes indeed. So, are there any upcoming projects or like events that you're excited about?
Yes. So currently I'm taking a lot of courses on filmmaking because I want to start getting serious with YouTube. I've never been serious with YouTube, but I'm done with school right now and I have more time. So I want to be serious with YouTube and I want to make beautiful videos. I want to say all the important things I want to say to the world, but I want to say it in a beautiful framing. Like the reason I did spelling bee was because I watched Akila and the Bee. Movies have massive impact on us. There are many people's life I can change to if I can just pass the message in a format where they just feel like, oh, they are watching film and they watch them and they will enjoy it and it's interesting. By the time they are done watching, they've picked something. So I'm excited to learn a lot of stuff on filmmaking and show that in my YouTube and teach people stuff. Even someday I want to even make movies. But right now I'm excited about my YouTube, one. And two, I want to start hosting classes where people can literally just come with their questions and they'll ask me. I get a lot of questions bombarded. And I know many people want to meet me too. Recently, I did an hangout in my school. I signed out, and that one was free. Many people came, and then they got to sign on my shirt, and they asked questions, and it was fun. But I want to do something like that frequently. Maybe once every 3 months, where people literally come, they can ask questions and to be paid. So I'm excited for that. So I think I should do the first event of that this year. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for my YouTube.
The idea of the filmmaking thing for YouTube sounds very cool. We will be expecting it, inshallah. So, do you have any final words or message?
I just want to say two things. One, please feel your well. That's what chapter 9 of my book talks about, dear Steve Jobs. all these beautiful words I'm saying right now, don't think I'm better than you. The reason I'm saying those things because I've read many books, listened to podcasts, watch videos, study smart people. It did not come out as I was a baby. I learned it somewhere, somehow. So the moment you realize that anything anybody at all is doing that is busting your brain, they learned it somehow, somewhere. You too, you have that brain to learn it somehow, somewhere, so that you can bust someone else's brain. Once you figure that out, you realize that you can learn anything. Learn, but don't only learn the things you are interested in about, right? Try different things. The reason basketball has helped my life so much is I tried it. Now I'm trying filmmaking. So it is okay to have interest plenty and play around. That's the first thing. And the second thing is something I heard from L19. They said the amount of money you make is in direct proportion to the amount of service you render to the world. So I know all of us want money. I want it to, but you need to increase the capacity of your service. If you can serve more people, you make more money. So start to think about how. See the same 24 hours you have in a day, but the reason 100,000 people are following me and the reason 1 million people are following maybe Gary V is because of Gary V has increased his capacity to serve. That's why 1 million people are showing up and me 100K. So if you want to be paid more, if you want to be respected more, if you want to be recognized more, increase your capacity and automatically all the rewards, all the accolades, all the money, all the fame will come. That's the final word. And please get close to God. Please get close to God.
I also found out that you have a podcast. Can you tell us a bit about it? I would love to know more about your podcast.
The name of my podcast is called the Crazy Enough Podcast. Man, I've not been active on there. Right now, what I even just do is I have someone that is managing it, and basically, they literally script out the audio. Just this conversation, they script out the audio, post it there. If I make a video, they script out the audio, post it there. But then, with more time right now, if I figure out this my YouTube thing, so I want to bring people on. I've had some people on before that they were guests. It's just there, and the concept is the Crazy Enough Podcast, founded on the quote by Steve Jobs. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who actually do. And the podcast is supposed to be me interviewing people that I believe are crazy enough to learn the things that make them crazy enough, so that means I can change the world and so that all our listeners too can change the world. Right now, all the shows that are popular around Nigeria right now, there's no one that is really about personal growth. But then I want like proper sit down personal growth ish. Maybe someone else did before me in Nigeria, in Africa, I don't know. But yeah, we need that. We need that. And more importantly, I also want us to show people like you that are starting a podcast, people like me that are already making videos. There are many young people that are not yet blown, that are not yet popular, but then they are on their journey, they are on their path, and we need to hear their stories too. So that's another thing I want to do with Crazy Enough, to show people that have not yet blown, but they are on their path to getting blown, to show them to the world. Because that's it. Most shows are always showing when people don't make and finish. Let's show the process of making it too. There are many people that are 16, 17 that want to hear what the 19-year-old and the 21-year-olds are saying. So yeah, I hope my podcast will be able to deliver on that with time, one step at a time.
So, if our listeners want to get your book, where can they get your book from?
From the link in my bio, my username is Mo Sheriff, moh.sheriff. Sheriff is one out, so just search Mo Sheriff and you can get it from the link in my bio on Instagram, TikTok. You can send me a DM. My number is both on my Instagram and TikTok. The link will basically take you to the website where you can buy the book, and you can also DM the book's account, 11 letters I wrote but never sent, on Instagram. And then the links are there and you can get it straight up.
So, thank you so much for joining us, Muhammad. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Fadila. I really appreciate it.
So, listeners, you can find Muhammad's book, 11 Letters I Wrote But Never Sent, on his Instagram and also in the link below. Be sure to follow him on his social media handles. And with all that being said, thank you all for tuning in to Books and Coffee, and see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, Muhammad, for being a guest.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.